Hi, and welcome to DD Live. I'm your host, Angel Camacho from beautiful Breckenridge, Colorado, but that doesn't stop me because I love you guys. And my esteemed colleague, the one and only, the one you guys wanted a bad mouth, want to kick him off your team, don't even put him on the alumni ring of honor, Jose the Perra Guerra. How are you, my
Yes,
guy?
sir. Hey, man, just trying to get through it. I'm here trying to see if I can make sure Nico Q makes it to week three. Steelers, I got y'all. Or it's Jets. I don't even know where he's at right now. I think it's the Jets.
Right? Just
So
he's the new ham. And speaking of ham, he got tossed around, huh?
yeah, man.
We're gonna get to that.
Ham.
We're gonna get to that. This is gonna be a
Yeah,
jam-packed show. There's so much that we have to unravel here. So much happened on the field, so much happened off the field.
off the field. Yeah.
It's one of those weeks as we thought it was gonna be. I thought maybe it was gonna be a little bit more noise. There wasn't, but definitely, it's expected that coming into week three, fireworks are gonna pop off on the field and off the field because definitely there's a lot to unwind. So, Perra, walk us through.
I mean, man, shoot, it was a very good week two. I know that there was a couple absences. I think there was a couple like minor injuries.
For
Nothing too
example, I
crazy.
was out. How did the Dolphins do?
I think you guys still went two and
Two and
one.
one, 2-1,
Yeah,
baby. Two and
which I
one.
think
Hero
that
ball.
was that your
Calit,
bold
Cal,
prediction?
Carlitos way. Carlit,
No, it
yeah,
was not.
no, well, no, I did have us 2-1, but I had us losing to the Falcons, Daleks, man, Ricotate. So, like on the pick'ems, I went 1-2, but I did say
Mm,
that we'd go 2-1. So,
yeah,
technicality there, if I had
yeah.
that the actual data,
But
I would have.
I believe you also had a second bold prediction. I think you put the pressure on somebody.
Yeah, Commander's
Uh,
going to go 3-0.
oh yeah, I mean the Commanders did go 3-0. They were one of the two teams that went 3-0. The Texans also went 3-0. I think we were the only two teams. We had a good amount of 2-1 teams. I think obviously the Dolphins. I think the Titans bounced back. The
The
Cowboys, if
Cowboys,
I'm,
the Cowboys as
yeah,
well went 2-1.
yeah. So, but I
A lot
think
to
I think
unpack there.
yeah, I think just the league, not that there was any separation per se, but I think it just bunched up a lot more after week two.
Okay. Now let's talk about the Texans because you look at the standings and they're number one. You look at the rosters and they don't look like number one.
They're not
Is it
number one.
just is it just that Nico is hanging out with Patrick Mahomes and they go to the same church and this kid is just pulling out rabbits from a hat? Or is it that this team gels well? Schedule? What's going on?
Um,
Because the
so
Bills are a good team. Even without Louis Turi, they're still a good team. And I don't think Louis Turi's at 100% yet, even though he's doing the backyard Olympics at John's house. But, that being said, talk to me.
I mean,
Pretenders?
no, I don't think they're pretenders. Anytime you have the number
It's
one
the
player in the
church then.
league, yeah, it's somewhat to do with the church. I think Nico also realizes he does need to make a move. He knows. I think when it comes down to it, like you mentioned, the Bills, the Seahawks, those upper the I know and I mean, and shoot, their only loss was to the Chargers, which is another team that I would include in that in terms of like, when that team has like a real 1-2 with a obviously a very capable quarterback. I think those are the type of teams that are going to put him in, into a little bit of trouble.
But the Texans have a PD of 10. That's
Yeah,
that's
well, and
impressive.
and and so this is what I was going to say, right? At the end of the day, you play the schedule, and whether you believe in the Illuminati or not, you got to play the schedules in front of you, and they've done exactly that. They've obviously played six
It's always
games.
good
They
to have
won.
an owner on your team. Some will say it's
They
not to have CP, but for me, I'd
yeah
always pick CP.
yeah but
He's not the sack master on dresses, but CP, the schedule brother, he's the schedule maker.
yeah,
Shout
but
out.
for example, every game they've won 4-1 and 4-2, so they've made quick work of their opponents. And the one game that I refereed of theirs, this past week against the Browns, I'm not gonna say they should have lost, right? Because technically they didn't get stopped on offense. So worst case, it would have been like the Corona rule, and they were playing Corona. But that was I think obviously the Browns can go back and look and realize that they made a couple mistakes on offense in terms of matchup. But again, at least for the time being, they've obviously separated themselves just because of that Nico effect and the Nico factor, and that's the fact that their team is obviously, I would say, I would say a middle of the road type of team on paper, but they're obviously performing. They're performing very well. So that's definitely the Nico effect.
All right. Now, what happened to the 3-0s?
Man, it was a rough week for the 3-0s. Obviously the biggest one I think it was the Falcons going 0-3.
Alex,
Obviously anytime you're
bastard.
missing Alex, that's
Come
obviously, big.
on, man.
Yeah.
Is that Biggie
And
had a
then
very good week one, man, with the pick'ems. Like to erase a 6 game pick'em and then to lose 3 games because of freaking Daleks. Acere.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, you
sorry.
you
I just my
you got
Daleks right. I had to let it out, bro.
you you
I'm an
gotta be
emotional
you
guy.
gotta be in the know, man. You gotta be in the know.
Yeah.
But obviously them going 0-3, very disappointing. I know they made obviously after that. I'm sure we'll get to it as well. Safe to say they made some drastic changes to the roster. Obviously, the meme or the most noticeable 1 and 2 team is the Bucks with Chris and his loud mouth and Kukuyo being Kukuyo and
But
living
they're
up to
still
his
they're still
name.
three. They're still three. They're still three in the standings.
That tells you
And
how
Kukuyo had
impressive their week one was.
a very good bye week. He had a very good bye week off the field. This man was he had an encounter with the law.
Yeah, we're gonna see what comes of the
The
Bucks.
rumors are rampant. You think Spo and his ex-wife are dealing with stuff? Kukuyo, there I want, I have a rumor. I have a rumor that there's a video at the Executive Motel's security camera footage from the parking lot that, I would pay money to have.
Well, look, I'll put it to you this way.
I think he's
They
go
have
3-0. This man's gonna go 3-0.
well,
He's a legend.
I'm not gonna
He's a
say they're
roller
gonna go
coaster.
3-0. Yes, and that's what I was gonna
Temuel.
say. Yep,
Temuel.
he lived up to his reputation of Temuel. I think this could be potentially a very good, excuse me, bounce back week. I would expect them to go 2-1. I don't think they can hang with the Falcons. Excuse me. But I would expect them to go 2-1. So I think it should be a good bounce back week for them. But I mean, let's see. I think obviously it was very funny to watch the Bucks week two, especially that game against the Chargers, which was pretty much the only game going on. I know you weren't there, but it was a fun game to watch, to say the least. A2 going at Chris and vice versa. Chris tackling PD, then Chris
Where's the
doing his
footage?
famous looking around because
Yeah.
Georgie was, yeah. So
Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when
it was a fun game. It was a fun game.
All right. Cowboys. Cowboys snuck around a little 2-1. They had a rough week one, but that's not to say you're going to stop David. That's a gritty team. I think this is one of those typical David teams. He has to make a move. I think he makes a move, it gets him a star because I think he has a good foundation there. Um, but this is one of those David teams that they'll make the playoffs and like they could get hot. They're weird.
It's David. He's the GOAT. And again, you look at their schedule: the Bears, the Titans, the new look Eagles. I would say set up to easily go two and
Two and
one.
one. Yeah.
Obviously a tough game against a scrappy Bears squad, but I think they should be able to edge that out. I'll give that David definitely the edge over Chris Martinez, and then obviously toss up between them and the Titans, and then the new look Eagles. I think they should be able to beat them. So again, could kind of par for the course. I can expect David to put another 2-1 week together. I wouldn't be surprised if they go 3-0 and continue to in that upward trajectory. Build the value of some of those players because I do think that he's one of those that will need to make a move to really put himself in like true contention.
A la cold season, I think. I think this is like one of those reminiscent, like the cold season where he made a trade, mid-season trade that led him to
Yep.
stardom, his last star. Titans. We spoke Titans. We knew that there's potential there, but did they have the explosive factor? Is Peaky back? 2-1 could have been 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's sucks, right? And it's kind of disappointing to see that their loss was to the Chiefs. Um, especially after again, you play the schedule, you do what you're supposed to. You beat the Falcons, what I suspect was, handedly 4-2. Kind of probably the same thing with the Chargers 4-2, but then you lose, even though it was 4-3, you still lose to the Chiefs. A team that I played first, and they were just, in complete disarray, just arguing first play of the game. So it was, obviously disappointing to see that from a Piggy-led team. I don't think the team is as explosive as Piggy would like them to be. So I think, again, that's probably another team that should look into, making a move. Alabao's a dog, Ray is a dog. The team is really good, well-rounded. I just don't know if they have enough on the explosive side, either on both sides of the ball. Obviously, we know Pique's, somewhat speaking, his way through the season, whether he's faking an injury or going through an injury, but downplaying it. I'm sure when we get to the playoffs, the real Pique will show. But I still think, the team might be a little short of something.
Seahawks. Johan, AJ, I'm telling you, that's another powerhouse. I think that's a solid team right there.
Yeah. I refereed one of their games. I think it was, the game against the Bills. Good, hard-fought game. I do like the Seahawks. Like I mentioned last week, I just hadn't seen them play. I knew I liked the team on paper. I just had to see them play. Very explosive. Obviously, a very good
Yeah,
quarterback.
Laverius, AJ, the post is there. And we
Forrest,
know,
yeah.
no,
A lot of
yeah.
explosiveness. And Jeff, Jeff played really well from what I saw week 2. So if, I think he's the X factor, because if he can provide a good rush,
My
or
name, yeah.
if he can provide a good, a good rush, or just kind of play that middle, and or expose, his matchup on the offensive side of the ball, I think that's the X factor for them.
Now, one of the 0-3 teams that I'm sorry, 3-0 teams that we didn't talk about, Chargers. What happened to Petey? True, Phil.
Man, again, I can only go from the game that I saw against the Bucks, and that was the game they won. But they lost to Peaky, sorry, 4-2, and then they lost what seemed to be a tough game to the Bills 3-2. So I really can't speak much on the Chargers, and that's kind of what we left them off. Towards kind of the back end of those 3-0 teams from week 1. Based on the game that we saw, obviously it's pretty funny to see that they beat the Bucks, but they faltered to two of the other upper half echelon of the league. So I think that kind of shows that they're a good team. I think they'll still be they'll still obviously be they're still a contender in my book. I think they just gotta kind of figure out that lower end of the team.
What do we make of the Ravens and Ant? 15th in standings, 6 points only, 2 dubs, 4 losses. Al manhandled him.
Man, I don't know. I don't know.
That's a team that needs to make a move.
And that's a team that has value. And that's a team that, because much like the David effect, that's a very Ant team. You would expect them to be a little bit better. You expect them to be one of those teams, to kind of come out strong, given their chemistry, given their history, the familiarity of that roster, top to bottom. And it's just not, just hasn't developed. I don't, quite know why. I know they've been every single game of theirs have been close, but I haven't been able to watch them up and close to really get a real gauge. But just from feedback from when I talk to them and stuff like that, there's just something's off, something's not clicking.
Yeah, it's evidently so. What about your Commanders?
I mean, man, we did what we knew we could do. I think like I mentioned, after week 1, we definitely had talks internally. We were very confident in the roster, top to bottom. We know what we can do. We know what we bring to the table. It was just a matter of coming out aggressive, focused, and not playing the competition, just playing ourselves. Being everyone doing the best they can, and that's exactly what we did. I think maybe the scores don't show it because every game was 4-2, but we felt like we dominated every game. We were in control of every game, and at least defensively, that's really all I'm concerned about. I like kind of the groove that we got into in terms of getting consistent stops and making teams drive the field on us, which is something that I kind of urge all my teams to do. Hey, if someone drives the field and they score on 5, 6 plays, shake their hand. It is what it is. Obviously, no one wants to give up a one play touchdown, miscommunication, and stuff like that. And obviously, that we fixed that. And shoot, we didn't turn the ball over, offensively. So that always helps.
Now, taking that into consideration, like your team had a bad week one, great week two. Cowboys had mediocre week one, great week two. Titans had bad week one, great week two. Then we had a lot of teams that had great week ones, bad week twos. Pretenders and contenders. Who are we putting solidified contenders, pretenders? Just looking at the top six. Bills, contender, pretender.
Contender. No, contender all the way.
Seahawks,
Contender.
Chargers,
Fringe contender. I think they need to make a move. They need to figure something out in the lower half of the team. But I think they're a contender just on the fringe.
Cowboys,
Same thing. Fringe not fringe contender, but a contender on the fringe. First round
Titans.
exit. On the outside looking in for me.
Interesting. Texans.
They might. I mean, it'd be foolish to say they're pretenders, right? But no, they're contenders. I think very obviously they need to make a move. I just don't see them winning with that team
What?
as currently constructed.
What players stand out to you so far? Like there has to be 2, 3 players kind of making their name that, hey, this is kind of my season.
Ooh, man, that's tough.
Too
No
early?
one has. Yeah, I don't.
Everyone's just there.
Yeah, everyone's
Obviously,
doing
Nico because doing more with less,
right. You
and
can
the
go that
stats are
route.
there, and the stats are
Yeah,
there.
you can say Johan, right, on the quarterback, and I know he has. I think he has 2 or 3 interceptions on. So there's obviously players doing their part. I don't know if anyone's necessarily going
Solidified
above and
themselves.
beyond. Like kind of like, oh, whoa, where did this come out of, right? I think if anything, I would probably say it's maybe more on the other side, like kind of like, hey, what's happening with that? Because again, if you just look at the stats, they're bottom 4 team in the league. The stats have to kind of show that to a certain extent. So I would say kind of like what's wrong with that? What happened to uh let's see, who do we else, what's going on with the 49ers? What's going on with Remet, Sean, and Adrian? That's a good,
That's a good
trio. And
team,
then they
man.
and
That's a
then
good
they have
team.
Genesis as well. That's a good team. So it's like what is really happening to some of those teams. I think those are the main two, kind of two teams that stand out. Granted, they're only one game out of the playoffs. I guess the playoffs started today, but it's still just weird to see those teams kind of struggling. You look at the 49ers, they have a -7 point differential.
Yeah.
Like that's a little alarming. They've
When
off,
we talk down on the Bears so much, and they're at 0.
yeah, and that was what I was thinking that, they have maximum points they could have allowed is 24 and they've allowed 21. So it's like, dude, that's their defense should be their backbone, in my opinion, with Sean, with Adrian, with a good rusher. Who's their fourth option or their third option?
Ah,
Yep, bless you.
I'm about to sneeze. Holding it in.
Give me 1 second. Because it's Adrian, Sean, Ray Matt, Genesis, I think Javi. But who is their tier 5 or 4? Oh, Rene. I
Rene
haven't seen him play.
Rodriguez.
No, I haven't seen him play. But they have a good tier 6. Javi, very mobile. He can move. Obviously, Red Matt, Genesis, a good rusher. Sean, Adrian, like that's a good team, man.
That's a solid team. You
yeah,
expect more.
yeah.
Now, it was the week of the trades after week 2 ended. All
Yeah.
these new looks, a lot of things could have happened.
Well,
that just I can't talk. I'm underconfident. I can't say it.
well, you can't talk everything, but you can tell us a little bit more, right? You're obviously deeply
There was
involved.
going to be a captain that was going to be Slade, and it was a very big one. It was a very, very big one, and that got nixed, and the cap got retribution, after the fact. But
Yeah.
a lot of procedures weren't done. And one of the things that I want to say, you know, the trades have to be in writing for a reason because trying to just gather everyone on the field and a lot of decisions were made on emotion and then players changed their mind after the fact. And I want it
Yeah.
in writing because, when it's a bad trade, and that's the part that people don't understand when they're kind of new to the league, they don't understand the ramifications of that. When it's a bad trade, you're going to get lit on fire in the chat. And then you're going to be like, I didn't want it. I didn't say what. And then you know what? They're going to look at the DDPA and they're going to be like, oh, how did you allow it? Like did you have it in writing? Did you confirm? Was
Did you
there
do your
collusion?
homework? This, that, the other. Yeah.
So the moment that I'm like, hey guys, this is all good. And in fact, one of the guys that was executing the trade was very vocal about it on the field and tipped off the cap, saying, oh, hey, you're on my team. Like, brother, like nothing
Shouldn't
was
have done that.
done. You
Yeah.
shouldn't have done that. Most probably the trade does go through, but then I think that external pressure added to it. And by the time that it was supposed to be in writing, the opinion changed, and then the trade didn't come to fruition. You gotta if you're gonna try to slay a captain, you have to pass Enzo school. There's a certain way of doing it. You have to be read The Prince by Machiavelli. There's a certain astuteness required to be able to do it, and secrecy is one of those. And Vinny would have been better with that team. Had he just kept his mouth shut. But just like everything, the guy keeps shooting himself in the foot. But definitely, all trades have to be in writing. And that's how we could ensure that there's no collusion. Now, it is not our job, and honestly, my conscience bothered me when some of these trades were coming through, and I went to the commissioner. I was like, "Hey, look, if we feel that a trade is a rape, can we decline it?" But no, that is not what we're there for. We are there for to verify only on additions if it's fair,
Yeah.
equal value. But when it comes to trades, if you meet the criteria, captain to captain,
Yeah.
or full
Multiple
team
people.
with two
Yeah.
guys staying behind and everyone is in conjunction, then it goes through. Because at the end of the day, all of us are playing in the league. If we start to give our opinion, then that's where the bias comes in.
Yep.
I don't want to see that team better. It's too much. But unfortunately, you got the right amount of people to agree to something that unfortunately a lot of people feel created a graveyard.
Yeah. I mean, listen. Obviously,
What
I
teams
think.
got better? A lot of moves happened.
Well,
What are your thoughts on the trades?
so the first trade I thought was very even for everybody involved, and what do I mean? The Jets, okay, they get Peanut, Mikey, and Jason, but then it's Nick, you, Jace, Justin, and Stritch.
Yeah, 3 6s.
Eagles, they lose Vic, they lose Peter, and then they turn it into Craigo and Justin. Okay, like
Krago could throw.
Craigo
Krago
could
could be that
throw,
leader.
So if
Krago's
anything,
a
I would
playoff
say,
quarterback.
the Eagles probably got the best out of that trade. And then, man, honestly, the Steelers stay the Steelers. The Steelers are going to be a graveyard regardless. I think now they're. I mean, I don't want to say they're going to be worse, but I think they're going to be worse. No real leader on defense. No offensive leader. I like Peter as a quarterback, but I don't know how that's going to work out. There's going to be a lot of voice coming from Vic, I'm sure. So, I don't know. I don't see that team getting better or necessarily getting worse. I just think that was a bad team from the start. And then the second trade, which again, it's Ham and Will for Mikey and Stritch. Mikey's better than Ham. Will's better than Stritch. To me, it's an even trade. Yeah, you can look at it and say, okay, the Falcons are stupid fast with Daleks, Mikey, and uh and Brian. But then, now they have Stritch and now they have Juan Sanchez. So that's an even trade to me. I think that trade makes sense. And then, for whatever reason, obviously, I think it's safe to assume Jason caught wind that Stritch was trying to trade him, and he got, in my opinion, at the very least,
Active.
at the very least,
Active.
he got the same quarterback value back, but he got a better defender in Will over Stritch. And then not saying that you don't need a Mikey anymore, but once you have a Peanut, you kind of don't need Mikey. and will actually throw the ball deep. So bring him with Ham. That's going to give you speed. It's going to give you another weapon. So I think it was a good trade, but all around. Again, I think it's easy to get caught up on. Oh my God, the Falcons are super fast, but that's at the top. They still have the bottom, and that's why DD is so fun.
What do you make of Ham's meltdown? We didn't get a song though.
We didn't get a song, so that's disappointing. But at this point, if I'm Ham, like, why do you even, let it affect you? Whether it's for show or not, the fact that you're still taking time out of your day to go on those tantrums on the DD chat, I think is, pointless. I think Jason made a good point. Like, hey man, I traded for you. If you don't want to be here, just fucking let me know. Like, why you still, you're harping on your ex when your ex obviously clearly doesn't want you.
Yeah,
Focus on what's in front of you.
They want you as a tier 1. Back to the Dino days, Bobby, the MVP season.
So I get it. Obviously, some of us can, are I'm not gonna say are more attached to DD or than others, but I just feel like, we all have our own personalities. But I think Ham, it's every season, brother. You're gonna get traded. Take it as a badge of honor. You have value. Everyone knows you have value. And whether if they think they're trading you for a lesser player, then guess what? You're probably going from a lesser team to a better team. So either way, I think you come out winning. So, I would just, yeah, I mean, it was irrelevant to me. It was just funny to read. I'm like, dude, what are we doing? Like you know this. You're traded every season.
Yeah, should have known better. Who's on the hot seat? Like, who gets shipped? Like, who's a captain that could get shipped, or who's just gonna blow it up?
Honestly, man, I think, and I wouldn't even say it's like too far fetched if I'm being honest. But if the Bucks go 1-2 or 0-3, I can see like a Serge and Chris Campos saying, "Yo, this is enough. We need to get it." Because, or maybe
they
even
still got a good
Mikey
enough record. They got a good enough record to like salvage the season.
to say, "Bro, I'm trading away Kukuyo, Yesid, Mikey, or Mikey, if you want to come part of it, stay here." And Aniel, who's a good tier 6, you're getting a captain who can potentially go play receiver for another, a good quarterback. Like, you have plenty of value there. So like I would say that, yeah, man. I just kind of looking over it really quick. I think obviously Nico has value, but I just don't see who in that team would actually realistically trade him away. The Bills, I think, are set in stone. I don't think they should make a move. Commanders, I think, we've made it abundantly clear. We're gonna trust the process. We like the team, so we don't really see a point in changing. Seahawks are good. Dolphins are good. Chargers, I don't see, how they would make a trade that makes them better. I think they can. No one's on the hot seat. Yeah, man. I would say honestly, I would say Kukuyo and a very kind of underrated hot seat is probably a combination of the two. Dalek and Stritz. They got to perform this week.
Right. So that's what we're looking at in week 3. We're looking at how's Dalek's going to bounce back from the no-show. Stritz on a new team, is he going to deliver?
And he has a lot of underneath. He has Mikey, so he has that continuity, and he has Brian Byas, so he has 2 of those underneath weapons, that kind of fit his game. So, I think they need to show out. I think this is a week for them to show out, and if they don't, I think wouldn't be surprised if they make another move.
And the Cowboys, I feel again like have another favorable schedule.
Yeah, that's why I didn't include them. And again, I think just I took the hot seat question as individual players.
Yeah, they got Bears Eagles. I think that's 2 for them. Titans toss up. Yeah, so 3-0, 2-1 for the Cowboys. I think David has another good week this week coming up. So that's I'm just curious to see if Peaky runs it back. Is he going to put another performance? Those teams that took those L's first are going to punch back again.
Quick point, man. Because I just remember now, Juan Lazo deserves credit. He's usually vocal, but he's usually kind of like a whining, annoying, complaining.
Right.
Man, he was very vocal for the Lions, and he was leading them very well. I was impressed by his leadership, especially vocally.
Yeah, because they're like mid-table right now.
Yeah. No, I was impressed.
They're
of on
they're they're
lockup.
right behind the Titans in front of the Falcons. 9 points. The
Yeah,
3 wins, 3 losses, 1 PDs. That like they got good structure. They're not out of it.
yeah. And Isaiah, I think Isaiah is
That's
a
a good
great
shout out.
ad.
No,
Yeah,
he's a great quarterback. He's a
yeah.
good
He
quarterback,
just needs to kind
especially
of
for DD.
learn DD.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man,
From
I
a
just
physical standpoint, the kid has all the tools.
and especially defensively, the fact that you got to go both ways. But yeah, man,
I
I
haven't
was
seen him.
really
I haven't seen him play D
well. I mean, granted, he's not going to blow anybody away, but he has the physical tools to not
enough.
be, me, for example, quote unquote, a liability on defense.
Right.
So
Okay. All right. Week three is gonna be an interesting one, huh?
yep, that's for sure.
All right, let's move on to the games of the week. And the first one, no stranger, 8 a.m. Chargers, Commanders. We got Commanders, right?
I mean, yeah.
I'm going Chargers 4-3 here. I think PD, Phil, True, they're nasty. True. I don't know, man. I've been seeing so much from him, not just in DD, but like in other leagues. He has aura right now. He has aura.
I I obviously agree. I think Drew will be the best player on the field, but I think as a collective unit, I think we're the better team, and I think we take them 4-3 as well.
And the next one, 8:45 a.m. Their first game will be Texans, Seahawks.
Tough game. Hopefully, there's no phantom players missing. Uh, but if not, I think
I got Seahawks 4-3.
I'm gonna go
Just
Seahawks.
because Johan over Nico, and not from it's just that Johan knows how to get under Nico's skin. There's certain
I
people
would
that have like that kryptonite on Nico.
yeah. What I would say is I think Forrest. If I was me, I would probably rush Forrest or have Forrest play the line. And I think Forrest and Jeff make a big enough
Yeah.
difference to push them over. I'm gonna go Seahawks 4-3.
Okay. 10:15 a.m. We got the Falcons and we got the Bucanegros.
That's a tough game. Kind of a toss up for me right now. Um, but I'm gonna give the edge to the Bucks. I'm gonna say Bucks 3-2 in a close, rough game.
I like fast. Falcons 4-3. I like fast. Still betting
I
on
just
Daleks.
I,
I think he's
I just
nasty. He's another guy that has aura right now.
I I
But
think
for him, it's the curly hair, bro. I
I
love his
think
hair.
Stritz and Juan Sanchez it's gonna be a little bit too much to overcome for not the all of the speed, but the overall speed of the Bucks as a whole.
Now, 11:45 for me, I think it's the game of the week. The game of the week. I think it's gonna be the most interesting one to watch. Titans Bills.
So if the Bills were whole, I would take the Bills in a landslide.
Are they whole or
Uh,
not?
no, Angels missing week 3, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Which means I would imagine either Ray's gonna sit out on defense or it's gonna be a Ray and allow consistently
Yeah.
rushing Devin to kind of keep them both fresh. Uh, because of that, um, I'm gonna go Titans and I'm gonna go Titans 3-2. I think much like you said with Johan and Nico, I think Piki can get into a lot of people's head on the other side. Enzo might be a little nonchalant. He could definitely get into Devin if he gets Kevin talking back to him. So I'm gonna go Titans and I'm gonna go Piggy 3-2, 3-2.
I got a 4-3. No, you know what? I'm doubling down here. I'm going 4-2 Bills.
Okay.
I'm going 4-2 Bills. I think this one's where it's too much Beaky for all the other games. And then because he's gonna be fresh off playing David. Um, I feel like he'll get he's gonna get the better half of David on that one. And then I think just the Bills, Ituri, Kevin, Devin. I think that's too much. Sounds like a
Uh,
rhyme. Sounds like a
I don't
rhyme.
mind it. I don't mind it. I just think, that being their last game and them playing, and the Ravens, Ray Matt with Adrian and Sean, I think that's gonna be a grind out day for them, and I think at that point, that's why I'm kind of going with a 3-2 score because I don't think, I don't know. I like the Titans 3-2, given the third game of the week, them going 5 hard. That's why I'm going Titans.
Okay. Any bold predictions?
Man, bold predictions.
I got mine. I like to go, if I got something like horrifically wrong, I like to go back with it because I can't be wrong twice. I'm going Falcons 3-0.
Falcons 3-0.
Don't fail me, Daleks.
Let me see the schedule really quick. Man, this is a good one. Let me see. Do I play them just to make sure I don't piss off the right people? Nah. I'm gonna go. Bills go 0-3.
Yo, chill out, fam. For real?
Yeah, man. I think that's a good. I think that's a tight. That's a good schedule, man. A good schedule, like it's a
To
competitive
go wrong.
schedule.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good schedule to blow up in your face.
They play the Ravens. I think Ant can definitely kind of
No,
cancel out.
after listening to DD Live, this guy's gonna show up cracked out.
I think Red Matt. I haven't seen him play either, so I don't know what kind of going on there. But I would expect him to kind of know that, hey, we got to come out strong this week. Or a lot of us can kind of be on the move. So yeah, I'm gonna say those two teams come out with urgency, and I think because of that, them being 0-2 at that point, I think Biggie kind of puts the hammer down, and they helps him out, and they go 0-3. I'm going Bills going 0-3.
Whoa, that's a good one. That's a
It's
bold
bold.
prediction. That's
It's
bold.
yeah.
That's
It's
bold.
it's
That's bold.
bold. Yeah.
It's bold. That's like a 9-leg parlay that just like on the first one it goes.
That's like a Devin parlay. It was what's it doing?
Ah,
That's not gonna
hey,
phase
but
him.
when that guy hits, bro, when that guy
When
hits,
he hits, he hits.
he hits, and he hits for a lot. All right, man. Well, we can't log off without this service announcement that we have. And it's that this show is brought to you by the best sponsor money can buy. The best ever for a done deal. And it's me, Gallito, my little
Ew.
cock. Roger
I can't say
Tomas.
that, bro.
Yeah, you gotta call him. You gotta call him if you want your love box. Because Miguelito got you. If it's your pastelitos, your empanadas, whether you want rebotillo with tocino, everything you want, even pan cubano, iombe, mateba, hasta una cola.
Yeah. Or
Miguelito, Roger Tomas.
you can get the swazo for breakfast.
Yeah, oh man. That's un dolor de barriga. You don't want that. I wouldn't wish that. I wouldn't wish that on my enemy. Wouldn't
Oh, my
wish that
worst
on my enemy.
enemy.
I would not. I would not. No, no, no. That's bad. That's one. You guys be playing too much with this food. You just stick to the basics, man.
Get a fucking pastelito. de
You won't get through the
queso.
first game. They're already running to the wreck, and then they won't give us Colonial Park anymore. Because and there's
You're gonna
only
shut
one
it down.
stall. We're so many guys, and then you want to go use the restroom. It's like fula, bro. Wow. But yeah, that's the volatility of having Roger, not only as your baker, but on your team, because it could go sideways in a hurry. You
It
just
goes
gotta know how to
sideways
use
quick.
them. You just gotta know how to use them. Well, we love you guys. Go make sure you get your orders in. Make sure you help our sponsor get all his money back because this is one expensive show to keep running. We love you. You guys are paying for all of this. I promise you guys. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a great week. We love you. Send us your clips if you guys want it uploaded. And Ernie, please, man, if you want to make it to the intro,
Yeah,
the
Ernie,
rules.
go cry
We've been
somewhere
doing
else,
this for
bro.
too many seasons,
We
bro. You've been on the show
expect
and you've been
more
a
from you.
contributor.
We
Yeah,
expect less from a rookie. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear it.
yeah. All right, with those words, peace. I'm at the slow somehow.
All right, boys.